Hi, I'm Spencer. I cook, create recipes, and I really love garlic. I'm passionate about food and how it brings people together. And today, we're gonna be making spicy, garlicky clams, and in partnership with California Grown. And California Grown advocates for California farms, farm workers, and produce all over the world. So for today's recipe, we have, these are Manila clams. I'll go over these more in a little bit. We have, of course, lots of California garlic, lemons, parsley, fennel, and an onion. We have chili flakes, salt, olive oil, and California white wine. And we have some toast that I'm gonna make with it as well. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make some toast. This is just a baguette that I bought. And I'm just gonna slice it at a bias, at a nice angle, so you get more surface area. And I just wanna make some nice garlic toasts. We have a pan. I'm gonna turn it on. Put some olive oil in the pan. You want a good amount, because you're making a nice toast. And we're just gonna toast our bread. You can do this in an oven or a broiler. I just really like toasting bread in a cast iron. I like to kind of rub it on one side with olive oil and flip it. While that's toasting, I'll talk about these clams. These are Manila clams that I got from the grocery store and talked to the fishmonger there. You wanna choose clams that are completely closed. If they're open, it generally means they have died and you don't wanna eat clams like that. If they're slightly open like this, that's totally fine, because if you touch them like this, they will start to close and they're totally fine. So you wanna keep your clams cold in the fridge. I like to put them in a bowl with a wet towel on top before I use them. To prepare them, you wanna take your clams in a nice big bowl, wash them and kind of agitate them a lot in a lot of water. That water will turn kind of cloudy, murky. You wanna dump that and do it again. Do that about 4 to 5 times to get the clams really nice and clean. And then once the clams water is clean, fill the bowl up with water and let them just soak in water in the fridge for at least 30 minutes, do 30 minutes to an hour or so. It kind of like purges them a little bit of their grit and sandiness. Drain the clams and then you can just put a wet towel over them before you use them. And clams will keep a couple days in the fridge like that. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a whole head of California garlic, cut it in half, this, and see how, oh, it's just so nice. The cloves are so nice and juicy. So while the bread is hot, I'm gonna take it and rub it with this garlic, this raw garlic. Just go like this. And the bread kind of acts like a little grater and you get that nice raw garlic flavor. And it'll be really, really good to dip with the clams in just a little bit. Okay, so now that our toast is done, let's get started on the aromatics for the clams. So we're gonna start with an onion. Take off the top, take off the bottom, cut it in half. We're gonna peel this onion skin away. So to cut the onion, what I like to do is I like to make horizontal cuts first, and you go in at an angle, so it's just easier to cut. Careful about cutting your fingers. You want to keep them well aware, clear with the knife, and then we'll make the vertical cuts. You want to keep some of the onion intact so it holds it together as you cut, and then go through the whole onion. Now we're going to use this fennel, which is really beautiful. We're actually going to cut some of the top away. Actually, I'm going to save some of the tops. We might use that at the end. If the fennel is really tough and outery, I would take like a leaf or two off, but these look pretty tender. Fennel is a really great vegetable. It is the bulb of the fennel plant, obviously, and it has a really nice, sweet taste to it. I'm making vertical cuts just to get it the similar size as the onion. Now we're gonna turn our pan on, medium heat or so, olive oil, flakes in to start. Fennel and onion. Just want to stir these guys. You don't want to get, ideal is not to get color, but just to sweat them and cook them down a little bit. A little salt. And let's peel our garlic. I just love garlic so much. I put it in almost everything I cook, from, you know, when I cook vegetables or marinades or sauces to salad dressings. In California, actually, it's an only in California crop, which means that over 99% of the garlic grown in the United States is grown in California. Gilroy is really famous for growing garlic, but the majority of garlic is actually grown around the San Joaquin Valley, and garlic is very seasonal as well. So right now, this garlic was harvested in about June of last year. It's a springtime now. But basically, garlic is planted in California around October, and it grows up through the winter. Starting in January, February, you can actually eat what's called green garlic, and we have another recipe about green garlic. It's like if garlic was a green onion, so it has like the shoots and like a long stalk. It kind of looks like a leek. And then that eventually will start to bulb at the bottom. That becomes these nice bulbs of garlic. And then eventually it's picked, and then it's cured. And then the cloves in the summer, man, they're so juicy and pungent and flavorful. And they go so great with tomatoes and basil and eggplant and peppers and all those really great things. I'm just peeling my garlic. What I like to do is I'm cutting a little bit off the root end and using my knife to peel the garlic. A little more olive oil. So I have about 8 or 9 cloves that are here, and I really want to preserve that just garlic, and I don't want to mince it too fine. I'm just gonna slice it paper thin, and then we'll add it to our pan. All of our produce here is from California, and California really takes care of its farmers really well. They really have the highest wages of anywhere in the country and also the world. They have the largest protections of anywhere in the nation and the world. And California just does a really good job of taking care of its farmers as well as its farm workers, which are really important. So we're actually gonna put all this garlic in here. We're gonna put a big pinch of chili. And we're gonna let that sizzle a little bit. When you sizzle spices and garlic in the oil, it really blooms them and brings out their flavors into the oil. I think a lot of people are intimidated by cooking clams, but they're really easy. Essentially, you just want to create an aromatic base, put the clams in, put some liquid in, cover, and then clams are done when they open. So garlic is only cooked about 30 seconds or so, and that's about done. I'm actually gonna put all of our clams in. Splash of California white wine. Give them a nice little stir. I'm gonna hold back on salt. Clams naturally are very salty and their shells can be pretty salty, so I'm gonna hold off on putting salt to the very end after I taste it. But after we put these clams in, the wine is in, chili and garlic are in, I'm just gonna put a cover on that. For 2 to 3 minutes, I'll start checking, and as soon as all the clams open, they're done. I'm gonna get some herbs ready. So we have some parsley. What I like to do is I like to group all the leaves together at once. Or as, a few bundles and then just tear it like that. To chop parsley, you want to put it into a tight little ball, and then you can chop it. It's just easier to hold it all together. We are mostly good. There's a few clams I think should open. I'll turn the heat down on that. I'm actually going to take some of these nice fennel tops, which have really great flavor. I'm just gonna pick a little bit of those too. So these clams are done. It's been 2-3 minutes. You can see they're all open. When the majority are open, and if like there's one or two that aren't open like this, I'll give them like a little bit of time, but if they don't open easily, I would probably remove it. It could mean that the clam was dead. You don't want to eat that. I'm gonna finish this with lemon zest. This is a microplane and I'm just getting the nice yellow zest. I don't want any of that bitter white pith. Now is a great time to taste it to see if it needs any salt. Taste the broth. That's really good. It needs probably just a light sprinkle, but those clams do have a lot of salt in them. Okay, so they're all done, and we're gonna plate them up. This cast iron is a little warm, so I'm gonna use a towel. I'm just gonna finish the clams with some herbs and lemon. I'm gonna do a sprinkle of parsley. I'm gonna put some of these little fennel greens all around. I'm gonna do a little squeeze of lemon juice. So here's our spicy garlicky clams made with lots of California garlic, and it's a really great meal to eat. Eat it with a lot of bread, a couple glasses of wine, and you have a full-on meal. I hope you guys make this dish, and we'll see you next time.